When our elderly loved ones start needing a bit more help with daily activities, that first thought, that instinct almost, it often goes straight to a nursing home. We think, okay, they'll be safe there. Professionals can help. They won't have chores anymore. It could really feel like the only option, can't it?
It really can seem that way initially.
But then, so often, the reality hits. You might see it firsthand, the high costs, the loss of independence, an environment that feels impersonal.
Definitely.
And that experience, it leaves you wondering, right, is there actually a better way? That question is really what sparked today's deep dive.
And the answer, based on everything we've looked at, is a pretty strong yes. There really are alternatives, good ones, offering more freedom, more personal care, and often, yes, lower costs.
That's key.
It's so important to understand that nursing homes aren't inevitable. Not at all.
Exactly. So our mission today is to explore 6 empowering alternatives, options that could really enhance your loved one's quality of life, their comfort, their happiness. Think of this as maybe a shortcut, helping you get well-informed without feeling totally overwhelmed by all the info out there. So let's really get into these.
Let's do it.
So first up, in-home care. This feels like the most intuitive place to start. The big benefit here is pretty obvious. Letting older adults age comfortably right in their own homes, the place they love.
Absolutely. And it's ideal for seniors who, really cherish their independence, but just need a hand with certain things. Maybe cooking, bathing, remembering medications, or getting rides.
Right.
It's such a contrast to that feeling some have in nursing homes, feeling, displaced or maybe a bit isolated from their familiar world.
That makes sense. And practically speaking, the care arrangements are really flexible, aren't they?
Very flexible. You can set it up for just a few hours a week, maybe for specific tasks, or you can scale it up to 247 support if needed.
And you can hire caregivers privately or go through professional agencies.
Exactly. Agencies often handle background checks, training, scheduling, which can take a load off the family.
Okay. What about the financial side? That's always a big question.
Yeah, it is. On average, you're looking at around $4,500 per month for full-time in-home care. Now, that sounds like a lot, but...
Well, compared to a nursing home.
Exactly. It's often less than half the cost of full-time nursing home residency. So the potential savings over time can be really significant for families.
And beyond the money, there are those qualitative benefits.
Yeah.
That personalized one-on-one attention.
That's huge. Caregivers can really adapt to the individual's rhythm, their preferences, and research consistently links this to better health outcomes, less loneliness, and a stronger sense of, dignity and independence, just feeling more like themselves.
Which translates into tangible moments, right?
Oh, definitely. We hear about seniors just enjoying coffee on their own porch, keeping their beloved cat or dog with them, chatting with neighbors they've known for years.
Simple things, but so important.
Incredibly important for emotional well-being. Maintaining those personal connections, that sense of autonomy in their own space.
Of course, it's not without challenges. If someone needs round-the-clock care, those costs for in-home care can really add up.
They certainly can. And there's also the coordination aspect for the family.
Right. Managing schedules, talking with caregivers, ensuring quality. It can be a lot, especially if family lives far away or has demanding jobs.
True. But what we see is that thoughtful planning and really good open communication make a massive difference.
So it's manageable with the right approach.
Very much so. And the satisfaction levels reported by families and seniors using in-home care are generally very high. Often the biggest regret is not exploring it sooner. It really highlights how much people value that comfort and connection to home.
Okay, so that's in-home care. Let's shift gears. If in-home care is about staying in the familiar home, what about assisted living? This seems like a step towards community, but still valuing independence.
Exactly. Assisted living is really geared towards those who need some support, maybe help with managing medications or meals, but they still highly value their autonomy. They want their own space.
So it's not like a hospital or a traditional nursing home.
Not at all. The design is usually much more like private apartments within a larger, welcoming community. Think private bathrooms, maybe a little kitchenette, space to bring your own furniture. It feels more like home, less clinical. The focus is really on dignity and individuality.
And they handle some of the daily chores.
Right. Things like cooking, housekeeping, laundry, even medication reminders that's typically handled by professional staff. It frees residents up from those burdens.
And a big part of it is the social side, I imagine.
A huge part. That's a major benefit. Good assisted living facilities have structured activities, Group dining options, recreational programs, outings. It really helps combat loneliness and isolation.
That strikes a balance.
It really tries to find that sweet spot between independence and having support readily available when needed.
And cost-wise, how does it compare?
It's generally in a similar ballpark to full-time in-home care, maybe around $4,500 per month on average. Typically, that's still more affordable than the skilled nursing level of care in a nursing home.
And it's customizable, too.
Yes, usually you have a base package and can add services as needed, though that can increase the cost.
Are there situations where assisted living isn't the right fit?
Definitely. It might not be suitable for seniors with very serious, complex medical conditions needing intensive, round-the-clock skilled nursing care. The level of medical support is generally lower than a nursing home.
Okay, that's an important distinction.
And as mentioned, if someone needs a lot of extra services beyond the basics, the cost can climb.
But overall, the feedback seems positive.
Very much so. Seniors often talk about the relief of not having household chores, enjoying the companionship, and just the reassurance of knowing help is there.
And peace of mind for the family, too, I bet.
Absolutely. Knowing their loved one isn't isolated, but is part of a community, engaged and cared for, that's invaluable.
All right, let's move to another option, one that feels perhaps more traditional in some ways.
Yeah.
Moving in with family. This taps into that deep sense of connection, doesn't it?
It really does. It emphasizes personal care, that emotional bond, and for many cultures, it's a deeply ingrained tradition of keeping loved ones close.
And the care itself is inherently personal.
Completely. It's based on years of knowing someone, on genuine affection, not just a professional checklist, and it directly combats loneliness because the senior is integrated right into the family's daily life meals, conversations, holidays, the everyday stuff.
And there are benefits for the younger generation too, right? That intergenerational connection.
Oh, absolutely. The sources really highlight this. Kids or grandkids benefit hugely from their grandparents' wisdom, their stories, their perspective. It enriches everyone.
What about the practical side, financially?
Economically, it can be very advantageous. Compared to paying for full-time residential care, having a loved one move in is often much more cost-effective, especially if family members can provide a good portion of the care themselves. It can ease a lot of financial pressure.
But it's a huge commitment. It requires serious thought.
Huge. It absolutely requires careful planning and very realistic expectations from everyone involved. You have to talk about it openly.
And the risk of caregiver burnout is real.
Very real. Taking on those extra responsibilities, physical, emotional, financial, can be exhausting. It's a documented concern.
So how do families make it work long term? What are the strategies?
Communication is paramount. Setting clear boundaries, understanding everyone's needs and limits. Sometimes home modifications are needed, maybe ramps, grab bars in the bathroom.
Practical changes.
Yes, and families get creative. Maybe siblings rotate caregiving duties, or they hire part-time help for respite care, giving the main caregiver a break. Using adult daycare programs a few days a week is another great strategy.
So blending it with other support.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. But despite the challenges, the rewards can be immense. Strengthening those family ties, reducing isolation, it enhances life for everyone involved. It really affirms that tradition of mutual support and care.
Okay, let's explore something a bit different now. Senior co-housing. This sounds like a really interesting community-focused model.
It's fascinating and quite empowering. It offers seniors a chance to maintain their independence, but within a very supportive, intentional community environment that they help create and manage.
So how does it actually work?
Basically, seniors live together, often in smaller, private homes or apartments clustered around shared common spaces. They keep their own personal living area, but they collectively share responsibilities.
Like what kind of responsibilities?
Things like cooking some communal meals, cleaning shared areas, maybe gardening, managing the community spaces together. It emphasizes autonomy, but also active participation and mutual support. It fosters a real, we're in this together atmosphere.
Almost like an extended family they choose?
In a way, yes. And practically, the community can decide to pool resources. For instance, they might collectively hire part-time caregivers or home health aides if several residents need that kind of support.
That's clever. Does that help with affordability?
It often does, because costs for maintaining common areas and sometimes shared services are spread across all residents. It can be more affordable than traditional assisted living or certainly nursing homes. That makes it appealing for seniors, maybe on fixed incomes.
And socially, it sounds built for connection.
Absolutely. Social life is usually woven into the fabric of co-housing. regular planned activities, maybe group outings, hobby clubs, fitness sessions. It's all designed to keep people engaged cognitively and socially, fostering those really meaningful relationships.
Who is this really best for then?
It tends to work best for older adults who are still relatively healthy and active, who genuinely value community interaction and are comfortable with that idea of shared responsibility.
Are there hurdles?
The main challenge can be finding an existing co-housing community that's a good fit, or actually establishing a new one. That takes effort. You need clear agreements on shared tasks, decision-making processes, careful planning. Getting the right group dynamic is key.
But for those who make it work?
The feedback is overwhelmingly positive. Residents often say the rewards, the sense of community, the reduction in loneliness, the friendships far outweigh that initial effort. They feel a deep satisfaction and sense of belonging.
All right, our fifth alternative, adult daycare. You describe this as a bridge, which I think is a great way to put it.
Yes, it's a really practical and compassionate option that bridges that gap between being fully independent at home and needing full-time residential care.
So it provides support during the day, but seniors go home at night.
Exactly. That's the core benefit. It offers crucial daytime support activities, supervision, meals, socialization, while allowing seniors to return to the comfort and familiarity of their own homes each evening.
And that gives family caregivers a break, too.
A vital break. It provides necessary respite, helps prevent caregiver burnout, and allows them to continue working or manage other responsibilities.
What actually happens during the day at these centers?
It varies, but typically includes structured activities tailored to different abilities and interests. Think nutritious meals, supervised exercise programs, maybe music therapy, arts and crafts, discussion groups, games. It's about engagement and stimulation.
So it keeps them active and connected.
Definitely. And emotionally, being able to stay connected to family and community by returning home nightly is huge. It significantly combats the isolation that can happen when someone is home alone all day.
You mentioned activities. Are they just for fun, or is there more to it?
There's more. Many programs are specifically designed to stimulate cognitive function, promote physical activity, and just generally enhance happiness and well-being. Therapeutic activities are often part of the mix.
And cost-wise, how does adult daycare stack up?
It's generally one of the more affordable options. Costs typically range from maybe $1,500 to $2,500 per month for full-time attendance, which is significantly less expensive than full-time residential care.
Are there limitations? Who might it not be suitable for?
Well, it's primarily daytime support. So it might not be appropriate for seniors with severe health issues requiring round-the-clock medical supervision or those who have significant care needs overnight.
But families can combine it with other services.
Yes, and that's a very common and effective strategy. Families often blend adult daycare with some in-home care services. Maybe someone comes in the morning to help get ready and in the evening for bedtime. This kind of combined approach lets many families avoid nursing home placement altogether.
So it offers flexibility?
A lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
And the feedback reflects that. Seniors often thrive with the social interaction and activity, and families feel immense relief and reduced stress. It really can offer the best of both worlds in many situations.
Okay, finally, our sixth alternative. Hospice or palliative care. This is different, isn't it? Focused on a specific stage of life.
It is quite different, yes. This is for seniors facing serious, often terminal illnesses. The entire focus shifts away from cure and towards comfort, dignity, and maximizing the quality of the life that remains.
You mentioned both hospice and palliative care. Is there a difference?
There's a subtle but important distinction. Palliative care can actually start at any point during a serious illness, even alongside curative treatments. It's broadly focused on relieving symptoms and improving quality of life. Hospice is a specific type of palliative care, usually for the last 6 months or so of life when curative treatments are no longer being pursued.
But the goal is similar: comfort and peace.
Exactly. Both are designed to ease pain, manage symptoms like anxiety or shortness of breath, and create a sense of peace during life's final stages. They prioritize the patient's emotional, physical, and spiritual comfort above all else. And it can be provided in various settings at home, in dedicated hospice facilities, even in hospitals.
And it involves a whole team, right?
Yes, it's a very holistic approach. Teams often include doctors, nurses, therapists, social workers, aides, even spiritual counselors. They work together to create a care plan centered entirely around the patient's wishes and needs.
Does it support the family too?
Critically, yes, that's a huge component. Hospice and palliative care teams provide invaluable emotional and practical support to family caregivers, offering resources, counseling, guidance, helping them navigate this incredibly difficult.
What about the cost? Is that a barrier?
Generally, hospice care is covered by Medicare, Medicaid, and most private insurance plans. Palliative care coverage can vary a bit more, but is increasingly covered too. This definitely helps reduce financial stress during an already challenging period.
But timing is crucial here, isn't it? And suitability.
Absolutely. Hospice specifically is typically for those diagnosed with a terminal illness with a life expectancy estimated at 6 months or less. Palliative care, as I said, can start much earlier.
Is delaying hospice common?
Sadly, yes. Many families wait until the final weeks or even days, often due to misconceptions or fear. They miss out on months of potential comfort, support, and improved quality of life that hospice could have provided earlier.
What kind of misconception?
A big one is the fear that choosing hospice means giving up. But that's really not what it's about. Professionals really stress considering it earlier. Families who do utilize hospice often say their biggest regret is not starting it sooner. The positive impact on the senior's final months can be truly transformative.
So the benefit is clear for the senior. Feeling respected, comfortable.
Deeply respected and valued, yes. Their wishes are paramount. And for the family, it significantly alleviates the immense physical and emotional stress of end-of-life caregiving.
It reframes the focus.
Precisely. It reinforces that quality of life matters just as much, maybe even more, than simply extending life at all costs. It's about compassion, comfort, focusing on meaningful connections, and finding peace. Not about resignation, but about making the end of life as dignified and meaningful as possible.
So wrapping this up, the main takeaway seems clear.
Yeah.
Before defaulting to the idea of a nursing home, really pause and recognize that there are other, often better, more compassionate options available.
Absolutely. Options tailored to different needs, different desires.
We've covered quite a range. In-home care for that comfort of familiarity, assisted living for independence within a community, moving in with family for deep personal connection.
Then senior co-housing, redefining community living, adult daycare as that flexible bridge.
And finally, hospice or palliative care, focusing purely on comfort and dignity at the end of life. Each one offers a path where seniors can feel empowered, connected, valued, not just, institutionalized.
And your own experience, your family's specific situation, that really matters when weighing these options. It can feel overwhelming, I know. But just understanding these alternatives exist can provide so much guidance, comfort, and frankly, hope.
Definitely. Whatever your circumstances, knowing about these choices empowers you to make informed, thoughtful decisions. Decisions that can truly enhance the quality of life for the seniors you care about. So maybe the question to leave you with is, what stood out most to you today? Which alternative sparked an idea, or what aspect do you feel you need to explore further for your own situation?